This has honestly got to be one of the best PlayStation 2 PC ports that's ever come out. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about God of War, the 2018 game that has been ported over from PlayStation 4 to PC. And yeah, it runs without a hitch. And this is before any of the updates that hit. Let's go ahead and get into it.
This wasn't written with your comfort in mind. Nah. Made my decision, wasn't tough to decide. Nah. Me and my boys, we get it done every time. Gotta earn it, you can't just jump in the line. You'll get rushed to the side. I top my division, I've been building since I started. In the parking lot, I parked it. I came in while picking targets. My career cannot be tarnished. I'm a champion regardless. Celebrate, but this is a different kind of lucha party. We are not alike.
Now, before we kick this video off, I'm going to give a huge shout out to PlayStation and Sony Interactive Entertainment for providing the review copy of God of War for PC. This has been such a game that I have enjoyed going back to. Like, I originally played and beat this back in 2018 when it launched, and since then I haven't really touched the game, even though I know it's gotten some performance boosts for PlayStation 4 Pro, as well as for PlayStation 5 being able to take advantage of the SSD and the hardware. I haven't touched it since, and to be able to play it on PC, which has quickly become my preferred way to game, it's just been truly amazing. So I'm really grateful that I've had the opportunity to cover this again. And before we dive further into the review, make sure you sub to the channel, hit the like button, ding the notification bell, that way you stay up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes from this channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out patreon.com/MikhailCasanova if you want to support the content that we do. We also have channel memberships as well, and merch on Teespring and TeePublic if you want to go over and pick up some cool merch like this shirt here and many more. All that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the review of God of War 2018 for PC. The fact that Sony has started releasing their major titles on PC is still taking some time for me to get used to, because it seems unreal given their previous stance on not releasing their games on non-PlayStation consoles. And yet here we are. Sony's initial PC ports of Days Gone and Horizon Zero Dawn ran into some issues upon their releases. God of War dropped without a hitch. Now, I ran this game on my desktop that has an RTX 3070 rocking an i7-10700K with 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM at 3200 megahertz on ultra settings with 4K 120 FPS ultra wide and DLSS quality. And on my gaming laptop, which is an Asus ROG M16 with an RTX 3060 rocking an i9-11900H, 16 gigs of DDR4 3200 megahertz RAM on high settings at 1440p 120 frames per second ultra wide and with DLSS performance. Both of these machines have Windows 11. Being able to utilize DLSS is a godsend, although if you have a powerful enough rig, then you won't need to utilize DLSS at all. If you're on an AMD setup, then you have access to utilizing Super FX settings as well. You'll have a plethora of display options to tweak and tons of accessibility options that you can easily configure to get the best experience for your setup. There is no way for me to test this game on all PC configurations, but the game is so well optimized that you can expect it to work pretty well on almost any setup running a GTX 1060 and up. When it comes to the controls, you have the options to either play the game with a traditional controller or even with a keyboard and mouse combo. And, which is better? That's often a question that I get when I start reviewing games that are initially on console and then go to PC. And honestly, my thoughts are that's truly up to you with how you prefer the game. Personally, I find the standard controller setup to be the most comfortable, as I was playing this game utilizing the PowerA Fusion Pro 2 controller and utilized the ability to custom map actions to the back pedals of the controller. So what about the story and gameplay? Well, let's jump into that right now. The openness of the new God of War goes beyond the design of the earlier games, transitioning from Greek to Norse mythology, and that could have been disastrous considering Kratos' deeply personal reasons for destroying the pantheon of Mount Olympus. Thankfully, God of War aims to be much more than a violent tour of Asgard. With his innocent son Atreus, Kratos sets out on his journey in a remarkably well-paced story packed with genuinely surprising moments. God of War has always showcased absurdly large creatures and intense, fast-paced boss battles, and this entry preserves the ludicrous scale of everything presented. Brilliantly rendered character faces and evocative voice acting drive the emotional narrative, but the game's overall direction is the real star. The camera blends seamlessly between cutscenes and gameplay, often so well that I didn't realize when the control had been taken away or given back to me. And this single shot style of presentation lends a dramatic tension that perfectly complements the nuanced and more mature side of Kratos that this game aims to portray. And since I was running this on PC and I have an M.2 SSD that's a 4x4, I didn't run into any loading screens whatsoever. Now, maybe depending on what type of hard drive you install this on, you might run into loading speeds, but I would definitely say it's going to be significantly faster than playing this on a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro. Now, wrapping up everything, the promise of a changed Kratos certainly sets grand expectations for the new God of War saga and the upcoming Ragnarok. The story manages to provide a thoughtful mediation on its hero's legacy, the nature of his gratuitous violence, what it means to engage in such senseless killing, and bringing Kratos back to think about the terrible things he's done, and to ask himself if he can change. While this game offers plenty of callbacks and references to the mythology of the past, this God of War is easily the best entry by making every attempt to make the game a unique and worthwhile experience, and has me ready for the sequel. If you haven't experienced this game before, then I highly recommend you dive in right now to this PC port and experience this masterpiece. And that's it. That's the review for God of War for PC. Again, shout out to PlayStation and Sony Interactive Entertainment for providing a review copy of this game. Now, I want to know what you guys think. Have you played this version of God of War? I know this has been one of the top selling games since it's dropped on Steam and Epic Game Store. But yes, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And if you want to take the conversation further, we do have Discord as well as Guilded with links for both in the description below. Outside of that, if you want to support the work we do have Patreon, so go on over to patreon.com/MikhailCasanova or become a channel member today. That way you can have early and exclusive access to content behind the scenes as well as input on content that I will be putting out in the future. All that being said, if you haven't already, like the video, share it around, and sub if you haven't already. And all that being said, I know I've said that already, but hey, this is the outro part. I will catch you guys in the next one. Have an aloha rest of your day. Get safe. Have an aloha rest of your day. Stay safe. Get vaccinated. Social distance and all that good stuff. Wash your hands. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Mahalo for making it to the end of the video, and if you found anything of importance or substance that you gained from watching this, make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, make sure you sub to the channel and ding the notification bell. That way you stay up to date on all the content that you get from my channel, from podcasts, streams, reviews, impressions, reactions, and so much more. If you want to support what we do have channel memberships, we've got Patreon, we've got Subscribe Star, as well as coffee, which I would love to be drinking some coffee right now, which I am. That's some good coffee. But anyway, we got all of that, and we also have merch on Teespring and TeePublic, so make sure you go check that out. And all that being said, I just hope to see you in the next video that I put out. So hey, see you around.